the headlines, we begin with a sharpening political rift in the Philippines. Vice President Sara Duterte openly criticized President Marcos Jr.'s leadership following her 2028 bid announcement. Duterte accused the president of insincerity and neglecting critical issues in the education sector. While alliances shift, a key senator is dismissing 2028 speculation. Rodante Marcoleta is reportedly not considering a vice presidential run as Sara Duterte's mate. The senator stressed that his priority remains his legislative duties rather than executive ambitions. Beyond the Philippines, a violent unrest has gripped Mexico. Streets were blocked and vehicles torched after the reported killing of notorious drug lord El Mencho. The cartel leader's deaths in a military raid triggered widespread retaliation across multiple states. From cartel violence to a deadly incident in Florida, chaos erupted at Mar-a-Lago. Secret Service agents shot and killed an armed intruder at Donald Trump's estate early Sunday. The individual was confronted at the north gate carrying a shotgun and a fuel canister. As security tensions rise in the United States, Cuba is signaling resilience amid an energy squeeze. The Cuban military conducted high-visibility drills to show defiance against new Trump administration tariffs. Havana remains under heavy pressure as Washington targets the island's oil supply. And finally, a rare diplomatic encounter took place in New York. The post-Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife received their first consular visit since their capture by United States forces. The couple awaits trial on narco-terrorism charges as tensions between the two nations peak. I'm Andrea Santos. Newsline World starts now. Vehicles burned and streets were blocked across Mexico as fear and unrest spread following the reported killing of one of the country's most notorious drug lords, El Mencho. Joy Tabanao tells us more.
Cartel chaos erupted across Mexico as vehicles burned in at least 10 states following reports that notorious drug lord El Mencho was killed in a security operation in Jalisco. Authorities say unrest spread quickly after news emerged of death of Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, widely known as El Mencho, the alleged leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Incidents of arson, burning vehicles, and blockades have been reported in multiple states, including Michoacan, Guanajuato, and Veracruz, as local security forces scramble to contain the unrest. Officials in Jalisco confirmed that the high-risk operation targeted cartel strongholds, resulting in the reported death of the cartel leader. National Guard and federal police forces have been deployed to restore order and secure key transport routes. Residents across affected areas have been advised to stay indoors, while highway closures and airport disruptions have been reported due to security concerns. Authorities warn that the situation remains volatile, with further security operations expected as they work to prevent further cartel retaliation. Joy Tabanao, your citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
Acting President Delcy Rodriguez held high-level talks with Colombian Energy Minister Edwin Palma in Caracas on Friday, marking a significant step in cross-border cooperation. The meeting comes as Colombia looks to strengthen its energy ties with Venezuela amid an escalating power dispute with Ecuador. More on this from Almar Forzuelo.
At the Miraflores Palace in Caracas, a new era of energy diplomacy is taking place. Acting President Delcy Rodriguez hosted Colombian Minister of Mines and Energy Edwin Palma to advance a joint agenda focused on gas, clean energy, and critical infrastructure. This marks the first official visit by a Colombian cabinet member to Venezuela since Rodriguez assumed the acting presidency following the arrest of Nicolas Maduro in January. The discussion centered on long-term sustainable solutions, particularly the potential restart of Antonio Recuarte gas pipeline, which has been dormant for over a decade. The timing of these talks is critical. Colombia recently suspended electricity exports to Ecuador following a diplomatic rift over trade tariffs, a move that is costing Quito nearly $2 million daily. By pivoting toward Caracas, President Gustavo Petro's administration aims to secure a more stable energy corridor for the region. Acting President Rodriguez noted on her Telegram channel that the meeting analyzed new opportunities for cooperation that will benefit the people of both nations, while a formal heads of state summit between Rodriguez and Petro has been agreed upon. A specific date is yet to be confirmed. For now, the focus remains on the technical work needed to reintegrate the power grids and fuel lines of the two neighbors. Reporting for Newsline World, Almar Forzuelo, SMNI News.
Meanwhile, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, have received their first consular visit since their detention in the United States. The couple is currently awaiting trial in New York on drug trafficking charges as diplomatic tensions between the two nations remain at a breaking point. Jane Cunita has the story.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores are still held in a federal prison in Brooklyn, New York. And weeks after their capture and detention, a Venezuelan official was finally granted access to the presidential couple. Minister of Interior Diosdado Cabello made the announcement, stressing that the meeting was conducted under the framework of international law. This would allow the presidential couple to communicate directly with representatives from Caracas. Cabello also defended the necessity of maintaining a consular presence in the U.S., despite both embassies being officially closed since 2019.
Recientemente tuvo visita consular, que es una de las cosas, sabe el compañero Helio, que es parte de la Dirección Nacional, que yo les planteaba. Si no tenemos allá embajada, no tenemos consulado, él no va a tener visita consular que estén pendientes de él y de nuestra hermana Cilia. Ya tuvo su primera visita consular, se le fue concedida y bueno, él ahí habla con un funcionario nuestro de Venezuela y puede manifestarle cualquier cosa que él quiera, puede manifestarle porque es una visita autorizada además por el derecho internacional.
The capture of Maduro and Flores has prompted gradual, high-level discussions between the two governments regarding the reopening of diplomatic channels. Cabello assured supporters that the Venezuelan government is taking daily actions to secure their return, though the legal path remains steep. The presidential couple is scheduled for their second court hearing on March 26th. This has been Jane Cunita, Global Citizen Correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Cuba's military conducted high-visibility drills as a way to signal resilience amid a deepening energy crisis. This comes as the island faces new aggressive trade tariffs from the Trump administration targeting its oil supply. Carlo De La Peña has reports.
Heavy artillery and armored vehicles rolled through the western province of Pinar del Rio this week as the Cuban military initiated a series of combat readiness activities. Minister of the Armed Forces, General Alvaro Lopez Miera, toured the military region to personally verify the preparedness of troops for what officials describe as exceptional situations. The exercises including practical demonstrations of field maneuvers with a specific focus on wounded evacuation and first aid, a clear sign that the island is preparing for a potential state of war. This show of force follows a sharp escalation in tensions with Washington. U.S. President Donald Trump recently signed Executive Order 14380, declaring a national emergency and threatening additional tariffs on any nation that supplies oil to Cuba. The move has crippled the island's energy sector, leading to widespread power outages. President Miguel Diaz-Canel has hit back, accusing the U.S. government of attempting to asphyxiate the country through what he calls genocidal economic warfare. As the energy crisis worsens, the Cuban leadership remains defiant, framing these military drills under the War of the Entire People doctrine, a strategy designed to mobilize both civilians and soldiers in the event of a foreign intervention. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo De La Peña, SMNI News.
Chaos erupted at Mar-a-Lago early Sunday as an armed intruder was shot dead by Secret Service agents during a security breach at former President Trump's Florida estate. Joy Tabanao for the details.
Heavy police and Secret Service presence was reported early Sunday at Mar-a-Lago, Florida, after a massive security operation unfolded in which U.S. Secret Service agents and a Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy fatally shot an armed man attempting to breach the secure perimeter of former President Donald Trump's private club and residence. The incident occurred at about 1:30 a.m. local time when the suspect was spotted near the North Gate carrying what appeared to be a shotgun and a fuel canister. Authorities ordered him to drop the items, but he allegedly raised the weapon into a firing position, prompting officers to open fire. No law enforcement personnel were injured. The man has been identified by investigators as 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin of North Carolina, who had been reported missing by his family days earlier. Authorities have not disclosed a motive, and the investigation led by the FBI with assistance from the Secret Service and local police is ongoing. President Trump and former First Lady Melania Trump were at the White House in Washington, D.C. at the time of the shooting and were not at Mar-a-Lago when the breach occurred. Security remained tight around the resort as officials continue to secure the scene and gather evidence. Authorities say they will release further details as the investigation progresses. Joy Tabanao, your citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
Up next, Vice President Sara Duterte openly criticized President Marcos Jr.'s leadership following her 2028 bid announcement. Duterte accused the president of insincerity and neglecting critical issues in the education sector. And Senator Rodante Marcoleta is reportedly not considering a vice presidential run as Sara Duterte's mate. The senator stressed that his priority remains his legislative duties rather than executive ambitions. More news when Newsline World returns.
Isang pindot lang, pwede kang maka-jackpot. Mukhang masaya at easy money lang. Sa murang halaga, pwede ka na tumaya sa online gambling at e-casino apps. Mayroong sabong, slot machines, mahjong, poker at iba pa. Kailangan mo lang ng smartphone, e-wallet at internet. Pero ang aliw na ito, unti-unting nagiging bitag para sa mga Pilipino. Lalo na kung ang paborito mong artista o influencer ang mukha ng app. Mas madaling makaengganyo, diba? Parang safe naman kasi may kilalang mukha. Pero sa likod ng ngiti, sugal pa rin ang itinutulak. At syempre, mas madali ring itago ang pagkalulong sa bisyong ito. Walang pisikal na kasino o pasugalan, walang kaharap, walang accountability, kaya't mas lumalala ang adiksyon. Dagdag pa rito, maraming online gambling apps at walang regulasyon. Sa likod ng mga makukulay na interface at papremyo, nakatago ang problemang bumabalot ngayon sa bansa. Ang pagkalulong ng maraming Pilipino sa online gambling. Pwede maglaro kahit saan, kahit kailan, kahit sino, bata man o matanda, pwedeng malulong. Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang pagkakalulong sa online gambling ay nagdudulot ng matinding stress at anxiety, pagkakabaon sa utang, pagkawasak ng pamilya, pagkawala ng tiwala sa sarili. At tulad ng ibang bisyo, may mga senyales ito tulad ng hindi makapagpigil kahit walang pera, palihim na tumataya, pagpapabaya sa trabaho, pamilya o sarili. Sa bawat taya, may mga taong tunay na kumikita, mga malalaking negosyante at investors na negosyo ang bisyo ng masa. Para sa kanila, perang pumapasok lang ito. Pero para sa ordinaryong Pilipino, kabuhayan at relasyon ang nauubos. At ang masakit, tila matagal itong nahayaan. Hindi ito naging prioridad ng mga nakaupo sa taas hanggang sa sobrang lumala at halos naapektuhan na ang buong komunidad. Ngayon, sa dami ng nalulong at sa laki ng pinsalang naidulot, sa kapalalong umugong ang mga panukalang batas para higpitan ng online gambling, gaya ng pagbabawal sa paggamit ng e-wallets para tumaya, pagtaas ng minimum bet, mas mahigpit na identity verification, pag-block ng mga illegal na gambling sites, at bawasan o ipagbawal ang mga ads na target ang kabataan. Maaari itong magmukhang laro lang, pero sa katotohanan, isa itong sugal sa kinabukasan. Ang kita na dapat sa mga pangunahing pangangailangan o ipon na uubos sa sugal. At sa mundo ng online gambling, mas madali kang matalo kaysa manalo. Huwag hayaang sugal ang magdikta sa iyong buhay. Isang paalala mula sa SMNI.
Sa kabila ng mga mas modernong kaalaman at teknolohiya, nananatiling matindi ang banta ng HIV sa Pilipinas. Pero gaano nga ba kalala ang sitwasyon? Ang HIV o Human Immunodeficiency Virus ay isang sakit na sumisira sa immune system ng katawan. Ngunit tandaan, hindi ito nakukuha sa simpleng pakikisalamuha. Hindi mo agad mararamdaman, pero unti-unti nitong pinapahina ang katawan. At kapag hindi naagapan, humahantong ito sa AIDS, ang huling yugto na impeksyon, kung saan halos wala ng panlaban ng katawan laban sa sakit. Patuloy na dumadami ang kaso ng sakit na ito sa Pilipinas. Isang nakababahalang pagtaas. Umabot na sa 500% ang itinaas ng HIV cases sa mga kabataang edad 15 hanggang 25. Ayon mismo sa Department of Health, 56 na bagong kaso ang naitatala kada araw sa bansa mula Enero hanggang Marso 2025. At ang pinakamatinding apektado, ang kalalakihan at kabataang Pilipino. Dahil dito, ang Pilipinas na ngayon ang may pinakamataas na bilang ng bagong kaso ng HIV sa buong Western Pacific region. Isang indikasyon ng lumulubahang sitwasyon. Kaya nananawagan ng Department of Health gawing opisyal at urgent ang laban sa HIV sa pamamagitan ng isang Public Health Emergency Declaration. Kalalakihan ng pangunahing apektado. 95% ng bagong kaso ay lalaki. Mahigit 1/4 ay kabataang nasa edad 15 hanggang 24. Habang wala pang deklarasyon, patuloy ang DOH sa mga sumusunod na hakbang: HIV testing, libreng gamot, self-test kits, at pakikipagtulungan sa DepEd para sa edukasyon sa mga paaralan. Isinulong rin ng DOH ang online patient appointment system para sa HIV patients. Layunin nitong gawing mas madali at mas personal ang pag-access sa libreng gamutan at konsultasyon. Ayon sa schedule ng pasyente, ang HIV ay hindi tulad ng flu. Hindi ito basta naipapasa sa hangin. Ito ay naipapasa sa pamamagitan ng personal na desisyon. Kailangan din nating pagtuunan ng pansin ang ugali, disiplina, at personal na responsibilidad. Isang paalala mula sa SMNI.
Madalas ka bang napapasobra sa pag-scroll sa phone mo kahit puro masasamang balita ang nakikita mo? Isipin mo ito. Nakahiga ka na sa kama, nagche-check lang ng phone bago matulog. Tapos, hindi mo na malayan, ilang oras ka na palang nagbabasa at nanonood ng mga balita tungkol sa digmaan, sakuna, politika, at lahat ng masasamang nangyayari sa mundo. Nakakaramdam ka na ng kaba at pagod, pero tuloy mo pa rin ang scroll mo. Ang tawag dyan ay doom scrolling. Ito ang habit ng paulit-ulit na pagtingin sa mga negatibo o nakaka-depress na content tulad ng digmaan, krimen, o problema sa mundo. Nakaka-stress pero hindi mo pa rin mapigilan. Ayon sa isang pag-aaral ng Texas Tech University, ang sobrang konsumo ng masasamang balita ay nauugnay sa pagtaas ng stress, anxiety at pisikal na sintomas gaya ng pagkapagod at sakit ng ulo. Ayon naman sa Harvard Health, ang doom scrolling ay nagpapataas ng fight or flight hormones tulad ng cortisol at adrenaline na nakakapagpabigat ng isip at katawan. Nakakaapekto ito sa iyong mood, tulog at maging sa mental at physical health mo. At kapag naman puro memes at random na content ang pinapanood mo ng sunod-sunod hanggang sa mawalan ka na ng gana na mag-isip at gumawa ng iba pang gawain, ang tawag naman dyan ay brain rot. Sa Gen Z at tinatawag na internet culture, ang brain rot ay overconsumption o sobrang tagal na panonood ng paulit-ulit, mababaw, magulo o walang saysay na content online hanggang sa parang manhid na ang utak mo. Kapag nasobrahan, syempre, nakakasama. Nawawalan ka na ng focus, nawawala ang motivation, hirap mag-isip ng malalim, parang lutang o foggy ang utak. Masaya sa simula, pero kapag sobra, napapagod ang isip mo, nahihirapang mag-concentrate at parang lutang. Mas delikado pa ito sa mga bata dahil ang utak nila ay nasa proseso pa ng pag-develop. Kaya mas malakas ang epekto ng doom scrolling at brain rot sa kanila. Maaaring makaapekto sa pag-aaral, pag-iisip at pakikitungo sa iba. Ang higit sa 4 na oras ng screen time araw-araw sa mga kabataan ay konektado sa 35 to 88% na mas mataas na posibilidad ng depresyon, anxiety at stress. Base ito sa isang malawakang pag-aaral sa Brazil. Kaya, maging balanse. Magpahinga sa screen, magbasa, makipagkwentuhan, magdasal, maging present lagi. Alagaan ang iyong isipan. Kung anong itinatanim sa isipan mo, yun ang lalago.
And we're back. Following her declaration for the presidency in 2028, Vice President Sara Duterte openly criticized President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s leadership of the country. According to the Vice President, she saw the president's lack of sincerity in his work early on. She added that the president even ignored problems in the education sector. Here are the details from Daniela Paulite.
After confirming her intent to run for the highest office in the next election, Vice President Sara Duterte is no longer holding back her statements against her former ally. In an exclusive interview on SMNI's program, Vox Populi, the Vice President admitted that as early as the first month of their term in 2022, she already had doubts regarding President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s dedication as the nation's leader.
Napansin ko na wala talaga siyang sinseridad sa trabaho.
According to VP Sara, she observed an alleged lack of concrete system in cabinet meetings back when she was still the Secretary of the Department of Education, which led her to question the administration's direction.
Noong una, pag-upo namin, nagpapatawag siya ng meeting. Meron kaming mga cabinet meetings. At napapansin ko dun sa cabinet meetings, wala bang structure ba na ano ang problema, pag-uusapan natin at pag-iisipan natin ang solusyon. Bigla, sabi niya, ay hindi na tayo magka-cabinet meeting. Sabi niya, papatawag lang namin kayo kung may kailangan kami sa inyo.
She says it is baffling how concrete solutions to the country's problems can be formed if the secretaries do not meet regularly. Beyond this, VP Sara directly admitted that the president also lacked a clear direction regarding the education sector.
Lahat ng ginawa sa Department of Education, kami lang yun. Kami ng mga USEC, ASEC, regional director, superintendents, mga teachers, kami lang ang nag-usap, nagplano, at nagbigay ng direksyon para sa Department of Education.
Aside from the working system, VP Sara also criticized the president's lack of action on the issue of classroom shortage. According to the Vice President, she brought up complaints regarding the alleged interference of some lawmakers in the DepEd budget, but the President reportedly ignored it.
Sinabi namin sa kanya, hindi natin matatapos ang classroom shortage kung nakikialam ang mga congressman. Tapos, binaliwala niya yung comment ng USEC ng Department of Education. Wala man lang siyang sinabi na, uy, patigil nyo yan, sabihan nyo yung mga congressman, huwag pakialaman yung budget. Kasi may kailangan tayong gawin. Meron akong kailangan na ipakita sa mga tao sa classroom shortage.
Duterte served as the Secretary of DepEd from 2022 to 2024. In addition to the lack of support, she also revealed the House's alleged control over the funds which she claims was seemingly permitted by the president himself.
Yung budget namin ay kinokontrol ng House of Representatives. Hindi lang control, kinuha talaga at pinaghati-hatian. Masasabi ko na pinapabayaan ni BBM dahil nung sinabi namin sa kanya during a cabinet meeting, classroom shortage, pinapakialaman yung budget, binaliwala niya yung tanong or yung sinabi namin. So ibig sabihin, meron siyang kumbaga approval, implied approval doon sa ginagawa.
It can be recalled that VP Sara previously exposed former House Speaker Martin Romualdez and former House Appropriations Chair Zaldico as the two individuals with absolute control over public funds. Despite these serious allegations, VP Sara criticized Malacanang's apparent lack of concrete action at the time to investigate the matter. As of now, the palace and the current House leadership have yet to release an official statement regarding the Vice President's latest accusations. Reporting for Newsline World, Daniela Paulita, SMNI News.
For Filipino-Chinese businessmen, the dialogue between several senators and representatives of the Chinese embassy following the exchange of strong statements will be beneficial. They believe that this is a step forward, restoring the confidence of investors in the country, particularly Chinese investors. Sheena Torno reports.
A series of heated exchanges recently took place between several senators and representatives of the Chinese embassy. The exchange of strong words stemmed from the escalating issue in the West Philippine Sea, particularly the continuing incidents between Philippine and Chinese vessels in the disputed waters. Some senators issued strong remarks against China and asserted the need to defend the Philippines' sovereignty. Representatives of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China responded and questioned the lawmakers' statements, describing them as inaccurate or damaging to relations between the two countries. According to some Filipino-Chinese businessmen, the dispute between the two countries has implications, especially on the economy. They said many Chinese investors are now hesitant to invest in the Philippines.
Sa ngayon medyo takot sila kasi nag-iisip sila na baka mamaya pagpunta nila dito, baka sila masaktan o whatever. So para medyo nag-wait and see sila.
The Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry Incorporated also sees potential problems if the conflict between the two countries continues. For Victor Lim, president of the group, it is important to have dialogue between government officials and the Chinese embassy. He added that it cannot be denied that a larger number of Chinese tourists visit the country, contributing significantly to tourism.
We have to be a good friend of China and all the other countries to promote our tourism. Actually, we have a visa-free for the Chinese people to come here to visit Philippines, like direct flight to Cebu and Manila. We have to cool down the conflict between China and the Philippines. So everybody should be friend to each other to improve our economy.
Businessman and Filipino-Chinese community member Ernesto Chua added that once relations between the two countries improve, more job opportunities will open up for Filipinos.
Mas gaganda ang Pilipinas, no? Dahil iba yung may mga katulong tayo na ang bayan katabi lang natin. Ang China naman maraming country na tinutulungan. Sana mas maayos natin maayos para dumagsa sila dito, para magkaroon ng employment, para magkaroon ng improvement, para umasenso mas mabilis ang Pilipinas.
China is one of the Philippines' largest trading partners. Businessmen added that the relationship is important because jobs, the prices of goods, and the overall stability of the Philippine economy are at stake. However, alongside this, the country must still assert its sovereignty and national interest. Meanwhile, on Monday, February 23, several senators are expected to hold a dialogue with Chinese Ambassador Jing Quan to address the tensions and issues between the two countries. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
Meanwhile, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. released a 500 million pesos to jumpstart the long-planned modernization and structural upgrade of the Jesse M. Robredo Coliseum in Naga City. Also, he inspected ongoing upland contra baha operations in the city alongside Mayor Leni Robredo. Creselyn Catarong has the news.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Saturday inspected the Jesse M. Robredo Coliseum and reaffirmed national government support for its large-scale renovation and retrofitting. The president visited the facility following his inspection of ongoing upland contrabaha operations in the area. He was welcomed by Naga City Mayor Maria Leonor Leni Robredo and other local officials. During the visit, Marcos formally handed over a special allotment release order worth 500 million pesos to finance the Coliseum's modernization. The funding will cover structural strengthening, roofing upgrades, improved sanitation facilities, and the installation of a community kitchen capable of preparing meals for thousands during emergencies. Plans also include upgrading the drainage system to mitigate flooding and establishing dedicated medical response areas to improve emergency operations. The initiative aims to boost the local government's disaster preparedness and response capacity, ensuring quicker and more efficient action during natural calamities and other crises. Built in 2010, the Coliseum, popularly known as the Big Dome of the South, can seat around 12,000 people and accommodate up to 15,000 for standing room events. It regularly hosts sports competitions, concerts, academic tournaments, and major cultural activities in the Bicol region. Over the years, the Coliseum has served as a key evacuation and relief center. It remained structurally sound during powerful weather disturbances, including Super Typhoon Rolly, and continued operating as a logistics hub during severe flooding caused by Typhoon Christine. However, recent disasters highlighted limitations in the facility's design. These include inadequate toilets, bathing and laundry areas, the absence of permanent industrial-grade kitchens for mass feeding, and fixed seating that makes extended shelter stays challenging. Once completed, the upgrade is expected to transform the Coliseum into a safer, more resilient venue that can function both as a premier event center and a reliable evacuation facility for residents of Naga City and nearby provinces. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Creselyn Catarong, SMNI News.
Senator Rodante Marcoleta is reportedly not considering a possible bid for vice president in 2028. This comes despite speculation that he could be the running mate of Vice President Sara Duterte. What the senator consider his priority instead, here's the report by Carla Abellana.
The name of Senator Rodante Marcoleta has surfaced as one of the possible running mates of Vice President Sara Duterte in the 2028 presidential elections. However, the lawmaker said this is far from his priority at the moment. According to him, he is currently focused on what he calls a quest for correction, or setting right what he believes to be incorrect statements made by certain personalities. Marcoleta explained that it is more difficult to correct information when it comes from respected personalities such as lawmakers and former Supreme Court justices because many people tend to believe them. The senator directly mentioned several individuals with whom he has exchanged arguments regarding the issue of the West Philippine Sea. This include retired Justice Antonio Carpio, Senator Ping Lacson, Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson Jay Tariala, maritime expert Jay Batong Bakal, and former Senator Francis Tolentino. Although he did not specify the particular mistakes he was referring to, Marcoleta insisted that this will be his focus for now before engaging in politics. Aside from Marcoleta, the names of Senator Amy Marcos, Robin Padilla, and former Vice President Leni Robredo have also been floated as possible running mates of Vice President Sara Duterte in the 2028 elections. For God and my beloved Philippines, Carla Abellana, reporting for Newsline World.
In related news, Vice President Sara Duterte says she has already selected her running mate for the 2028 elections. She says the person she has chosen to be her vice president will be the one to hold those who committed wrongdoing against the Philippines accountable. Paul Montibon reports.
Vice President Sara Duterte has confirmed that she has recruited a potential running mate for 2028 presidential race. In an exclusive interview with SMNI, Duterte said she first approached the individual last year but declined to identify the person for now.
Nirecruit ko siya last year pa. Kaso, wag na muna natin yan pag-usapan. Protektahan natin yung tao hanggang sa makapag-desisyon siya kung anong gagawin niya sa karera niya.
Duterte also addressed concerns that she could become vindictive if elected president, particularly at a time when Philippine politics remains deeply polarized. She insisted that being vindictive is not in her character.
Wala kasi sa ugali ko yung pagiging vindictive, gumaganti. Kung makikita niyo sa governance ko, noong ako ay mayor ng Davao City, tumanggap din, nung kampanya, tumanggap din ako ng sobrang katakot-takot na banat mula sa naging katunggali ko at the time bilang mayor candidate. Pero nung ako ay umupo, tapos na yun lahat ng nangyari nila, ng banat nila sa kampanya, lahat ng sinabi nila, wala na yun.
VP Sara also pointed out that during her time at the office of the Vice President, she did not speak ill of former Vice President Leni Robredo. She said many OVP personnel were appointees of Robredo, but she did not remove them from their posts. Instead, she said she wanted to continue and highlight the legacies of previous vice presidents. However, Vice President Duterte clarified that although she is not vindictive, she believes that those who committed wrongdoing against the country must be held accountable.
Hindi pwede na walang managot. Yung nire-recruit ko na Vice President, siya ang magpapanagot sa mga gumawa ng mali sa bayan. Para ako, nakatutok ako sa trabaho ng presidente.
For Ghana, my beloved country, the Philippines, reporting for Newsline World, this has been Paul Montibon, SMNI News.
In tennis, Carlos Alcaraz needed less than 50 minutes to crush Arthur Fils and capture the Qatar Open title in Doha. However, the Oklahoma City Thunder knocked down 21 three-pointers to defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers 121-113 and end their 7-game winning run. Carlo De La Peña for the updates.
The victory marks Carlos Alcaraz's 12th win of the season and the 26th title of his career, coming just weeks after lifting the Australian Open trophy and completing the career Grand Slam in Melbourne. The 22-year-old Spanish top seed overwhelmed Francis Arthur Fils with a commanding 6-2, 6-1 victory, converting 5 of 7 break points while not facing a single break point on his own serve. He broke Fils in the opening game to immediately take control, wrapped up the first set in just 28 minutes, and carried that momentum into the second set with a double break for a 3-0 lead. Fils showed his frustration by smashing his racket as the match slipped away. And although he managed to hold serve once in the second set, it proved to be only a brief response. Alcaraz closed out the match in 24 minutes in the second set to seal the title, finishing with 18 winners compared to just 3 from Fils. The 15-minute final became the shortest completed match of Alcaraz's career and was even quicker than last year's shortest final, when Casper Ruud defeated Hugo Humbert in 68 minutes in Stockholm. Alcaraz said he entered the season hungry for more success and credited his team for keeping him mentally strong. World number 40 Fils, who returned this season after an 8-month injury layoff last year, praised Alcaraz's level and described him as an unbelievable champion. With another dominant performance, Alcaraz strengthens his position as the player to beat early in the 2026 season. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City improved to 44-14 to stay on top of the Western Conference standings. The Thunder delivered the win despite missing injured starters Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams, along with AJ Mitchell and Alex Caruso. Isaiah Joe led away with 22 points, while Kaysen Wallace added 20 points and 10 assists, committing just one turnover. Wallace also took on a tough defensive assignment of guarding James Harden. The Thunder came out strong, scoring the first 9 points of the game and building an early lead that grew to as many as 23 points in the first quarter. Cleveland fought back and briefly traded the lead in the third quarter. However, Oklahoma City regained control late in the period and carried the advantage into the fourth quarter, never giving it up. 7 Oklahoma City players finished in double figures, with Chet Holmgren recording a double-double of 17 points and 15 rebounds. Head coach Mark Daigneault praised his team's early energy and said setting the tone quickly was key against a high-powered Cavaliers squad. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo De La Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
Glamour stole the show as Erin Doherty made a stunning entrance at the 2026 BAFTAs, sporting a plunging gown and sparkling silver jewelry. Meanwhile, smiles were all around as Prince William and Kate Middleton put on a united front at the ceremony despite fresh controversy surrounding the royal family. Blake Ann has all the buzz.
Actress Erin Doherty made a show-stopping entrance at the 2026 BAFTA Film Awards in London, turning heads with a glamorous red carpet look. The eye-catching number featured a plunging neckline that flowed into a dramatic puffy skirt. Erin completed the ensemble with black pointed heels and sparkling silver jewelry from Chaumet. Although she isn't nominated for any awards this year, Erin will be taking the stage as a presenter alongside stars such as Olivia Cooke and Amy Lou Wood. The Royal Festival Hall at the South Bank Center provided the elegant backdrop as the very best of contemporary cinema gathered for Sunday evening ceremony. Despite recent royal controversies, the Prince and Princess of Wales appeared in high spirits as they attended the 2026 BAFTA Film Awards in London. 3 days after the arrest of Prince William's uncle, Prince Andrew, the royal couple put on a united front, smiling for photographers as they walked the red carpet. Kate Middleton, known for impeccable style, looked every bit the princess in a flowing pink and cream gown, cinched with a maroon belt, a tiara-free modern royal look. The couple's attendance offered a glimpse of normalcy amid a turbulent week for the British royal family as the BAFTAs showcased the very best of contemporary cinema at London's Royal Festival Hall. And that's all for now. I'm Blake Ann, bringing you the latest showbiz.
A baby Japanese macaque named Punch has become an international sensation after videos of him clinging to a stuffed toy went viral, driving a surge in visitors to Ichikawa City Zoo and turning the once quiet facility into one of the country's most talked about animal attractions. Faith Agustin has the story.
Zoo attendance at Ichikawa City Zoo has surged sharply since baby macaque Punch went viral, with large crowds gathering daily at the enclosure. On peak days, visitor numbers have exceeded typical seasonal averages, and some people have traveled from outside Chiba Prefecture specifically to see the now famous infant. Punch was born in July 2025 at the zoo but was abandoned by his mother shortly after birth. Something caretakers say can happen with inexperienced macaques. Staff stepped in to hand-raise him, providing round-the-clock care to ensure his survival. To comfort the young monkey, keepers introduced a plush orangutan toy, which he quickly began clinging to. Photos and videos of the tiny macaque hugging the oversized stuffed animals spread widely online in early February 2026, turning him into an international internet sensation. In recent updates, caretakers report encouraging progress in Punch's social development. While early viral clips showed him being scolded or handled roughly by older troop members, he is now gradually integrating. Adult macaques have been seen grooming him and allowing closer contact, key signs of acceptance within the group. Zoo officials continue to urge visitors to remain respectful and avoid disturbing the animals as Punch still adjusts. His journey from abandonment to viral fame has not only boosted attendance but also sparked wider conversations about animal care. This has been Faith Agustin, your citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the sun. Your future depends on when you are now, not your past. Forget your past, bury it, grow up, and move on. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Andrea Santos. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.